Bitcoin shot up to 25.2, the 200 weekly moving average. Bitcoin throughout its history has only broken below its 200 weekly moving average like a few times, all right? And usually it's for a very short amount of time. This time around, we were hugging that 200 weekly moving average. We were hugging on the downside, meaning that it was actually resistance for Bitcoin, right? And the reason being because we had a whole lot of catastrophes in 2022, including the last one, FTX, that pushed us further down, right? But we have just broken above that. This is the one metric that almost every Bitcoin trader looks at. And they use this as kind of like a bottom indicator, right? And whenever we hit it or go slightly below, this is like the ultimate like signal to buy, buy, buy. And we have just flipped above. And normally speaking, you can see what happens when we are above or we utilize it as a bottom, right? Good things happen afterwards. Really good things happen afterwards. So this is number one. But that's not all. There's another guy on Twitter. He presents a new one I never heard of before, DCA indicator. Now, I know what DCA means, dollar cost average, but what is this DCA indicator? Basically, there's this indicator where if you just put $1 a day, you DCA $1 worth of Bitcoin every single day, and then you measure whether or not you're profitable or not. And you could be in the red for quite some time, and then eventually you're in the green again, and that's all this is measuring, right? And whenever you flip to the green, whenever you flip into profitability, that's usually when Bitcoin does really good things. This has only flashed 3 times before in its history. So you could see we just broke through, right? And for reference, this is what happened in 2020 when we were coming off that COVID crash, right? We also flipped up with that DCA indicator, and then look at what happened, right? I mean, tremendous run. Yes, even though, I mean, when zoomed out, it looks like it's just, going up infinitely right away. But no, I mean, there's still a volatility period. It still took months before we went all the way up to 64,000, but still, it was the beginning. It was the beginning of the bull run. Here's another one. Same thing. This is back earlier, the previous cycle, in 2015, when, again, that indicator flashed, and look at what Bitcoin did afterwards. Again, a lot of up and downs, but still, it was the start of the bull trend, right? And this metric just turned green. So, do we start the next bull trend or bull run already? You can make the case that we did. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some time before we get all the way back up. But, and speaking of the bull run, we're at 24.1 again, 24.2. Look at that. I should have threw my 5X long this morning. I don't have it open, but you know what? We got some bullish signals, okay? We got some very bullish signals going on right now that's indicating great things are coming for Bitcoin. Here's another one. Okay, this is an RSI cross. Let me remove my camera here. So again, looking at long term, going back two cycles ago, right? You could see you have these descending wedges, and usually when we break out of that wedge, good things happen, okay? And you look at the RSI when it starts turning bullish, when it starts crossing over, very, very bullish, okay? Again, it's the start of the bull run. Well, you can make that argument, okay? The bull run is going to take a long time, but it starts somewhere. It starts usually when you recover from bottom. And then here's another one, right? Indicating basically the same thing. You look at these previous times when Bitcoin hit a bottom, then it starts recovering, then it enters its, it's top, right? it hits a top, and then it takes a breather and comes back down, right? So there's just so many of these. So many of this. That so many of these signals, so many metrics, so many indicators, and moving averages, and everything else that you can measure Bitcoin with, and they're all very, very bullish. That's why recently I said overall, I'm feeling more greedy than conservative these days, right? Because I do believe we have found that bottom at $15. I do believe we are in recovery mode right now, and I do believe as we get closer and closer and closer to the next halving event, great things will come to Bitcoin, and greater things will come to Bitcoin after the halving event, and that's about 1 year away. That's how I feel. And plus, the macro conditions I feel like are improving. It's just that Bullard made some stupid comments yesterday. But outside of that, I think macro conditions are also improving. All right. Besides this, what else is going on? Well, Bitcoin miners. Recently there's been a lot of headline news about Bitcoin miners because not only are they adding a ton of Bitcoin mining rigs, which means they're not giving up. They continue to hash and increase their hash power, which means they make more, or it does mean they make more Bitcoin, but they also have to do it to stay competitive because Bitcoin's difficulty keeps going up. But you hear a lot of these miners, they just keep adding away. And plus, not only that, their stocks are doing very well. Clean Spark is publicly traded, but you have like HUD 8, Marathon. What's the other one? Galaxy Digital. I mean, there's a ton of them out there, right? They're all starting to come up. Plus, you have these big investors that are also buying into them, right? Like Fidelity, like BlackRock. They're all getting scooped up right now, right? So, another bullish signal that, adoption is happening. You got the big boys that are coming in, and we're closing in the next halving event. Is all very bullish things.